Look around you. Every pair of eyes you meet carries an unspoken judgment. Every smile you see is not just a smile, it is a calculation, a reading of value, a weighing of advantage. You are here because you feel it. You have sensed it in rooms, in friendships, in your family, in work. You have felt when someone's admiration is not admiration at all but expectation. You have felt when someone's love is not love at all but control. And you have wondered, quietly, how some women move through the same world with a power that draws loyalty instead of resentment, respect instead of suspicion, love instead of empty praise. Tonight I will tell you the principles that build that power. Tonight I will tell you what others will not say out loud. Take a breath with me. Feel your own pulse. Feel the weight of every decision you have made. These are not small things. They are the bricks of your reputation. They are the shape of your destiny. When you understand how human beings truly work, not how they wish they worked, not how polite society pretends they work, but how they actually operate, you stop stumbling in the dark. You start playing on purpose. And when you play on purpose, people respond differently. They cannot help it. I am not here to flatter you. I am not here to promise an easy charm. I am here to give you hard truths dressed in clear words. If you accept them, you will become someone others cannot ignore. If you reject them, you will remain at the mercy of other people's whims. That is the choice before you. The first principle is presence. Not the shallow presence of appearance or noise, but the presence of a centered will. When you walk into a room, before you speak, before you smile, before you even sit down, people are already reading you. They look at the tilt of your head, the steadiness of your eyes, the pace of your breath. They are animals, and so are you. They sense confidence as surely as they sense fear. If you arrive distracted, apologetic, seeking to be liked, you have already given away the game. But if you arrive grounded, deliberate, you create a current. That current pulls attention without begging for it. That current makes others adjust themselves around you instead of you around them. How do you build that presence? You practice stillness. You practice walking into a space as though you belong, even when you do not yet feel it. You speak slowly. You use silence as a tool. You do not rush to fill every pause. In a world that shouts, a measured voice is power. In a world that fidgets, stillness is power. This is not arrogance. This is signal. It tells every mind in the room, I am not desperate. It tells every heart, I am not to be trifled with. And because people long for steadiness, they lean toward you. They begin to like you before they know why. They begin to admire you before you have done anything at all. The second principle is self-respect as a weapon. The world teaches women to give, to soothe, to bend, to accommodate. And there is a place for generosity, but generosity without boundaries is a slow self-destruction. If you wish to be loved, truly loved, not used or pitied, you must signal that you value yourself. You must say no when no is needed. You must be willing to walk away from any table where you are not honored. Every time you do this, you risk losing someone's approval. But every time you do this, you teach the world how to treat you. You show them that your affection is not free, it must be earned. And when affection must be earned, it is respected. When it is respected, it grows stronger. I tell you, nothing draws genuine love like disciplined self-respect. Because it is rare. Most people do not have it. They confuse softness with kindness. They confuse appeasement with love. They confuse self-sacrifice with loyalty. You will be different. You will know when to give and when to hold back. You will know when to listen and when to speak. You will not rush to prove your worth, because you already know it. The third principle is mastery of perception. People do not see you as you are, they see you as they are. Their eyes are colored by their desires, their fears, their past wounds. If you wish to be effective in this world, you must learn to read their lenses. You must notice the details, how they stand, where they look, the micro-expressions that betray hunger, insecurity, envy. And then you must choose deliberately what to reveal and what to conceal. This is not deceit. This is prudence. You do not hand your entire self to strangers and hope they will cherish it. You reveal yourself in layers, according to the strength of their character. You allow mystery. Mystery breeds interest. Interest breeds respect. Respect breeds attachment. Do not confuse openness with authenticity. You can be authentic without being exposed. You can be real without being raw to every hand that reaches for you. This is the art of perception. You shape what others see without lying about who you are. You hold the frame. You decide which of your truths are public and which remain private. In doing so, you control the story people tell themselves about you. And those who control the story control the relationship. The fourth principle is strategic kindness. You have been told that kindness is a virtue, and it is. But kindness, like a blade, must be handled with care. Unconditional kindness is a feast for opportunists. Strategic kindness is nourishment for the loyal. When you are generous, do it intentionally. Choose moments when your gift, your time, your attention will have the greatest impact. Give in a way that strengthens bonds with those who have earned it. Withhold from those who abuse it. This is not cruelty. This is wisdom. This is how you prevent resentment from festering inside you. This is how you make your kindness a treasure instead of a trap. And finally, the fifth principle is growth. Power, respect, and love are not trophies you win once. They are gardens you must tend. If you stop growing, if you stop challenging yourself, if you stop expanding your mind and your courage, the aura that drew people to you will dim. They will sense stagnation. They will drift away. But if you continue to evolve, to learn, to sharpen your skills, to deepen your character, they will feel it. They will be magnetized by your vitality. They will feel proud to be near you. They will love you, not as a static idol, but as a living force. Pause with me here. Imagine yourself practicing these principles. Imagine the woman who walks into a room, centered and calm. Imagine the woman who says no without apology. Imagine the woman who shapes perception without losing authenticity. Imagine the woman whose kindness is deliberate, whose growth is relentless. That woman does not beg for love. That woman does not fear abandonment. That woman inspires loyalty because she embodies strength and grace at once. That woman is you, if you choose it. This is not a fantasy. It is a practice. It is a discipline. It will not happen in a day. You will stumble. You will slip into old patterns. People will test you. Some will resent your change. But over time, as you persist, you will notice a shift. People will begin to treat you differently. They will admire your calm. They will respect your boundaries. They will be intrigued by your mystery. They will treasure your kindness. They will grow alongside you. And yes, they will love you. Not the fragile love that evaporates under pressure, but the enduring love born of respect and fascination. When I tell you these principles, I am not giving you pretty slogans. I am handing you a mirror. In that mirror you will see every compromise you have made. Every moment you shrank when you should have stood tall. Every time you gave pieces of yourself to people who had not earned them. This is not to shame you. This is to wake you. Because the moment you wake up to the cost of your old patterns is the moment you stop paying that cost. Presence, for example, is not only about posture or tone, it is about preparation. When a queen steps into a hall, she has already rehearsed her dignity. She has already chosen her attire, her words, her timing. She does not stumble into the arena hoping to improvise respect. She arrives ready to command it. In your life, that means you do not show up to meetings unprepared. You do not drift into conversations without clarity. You do not enter relationships without knowing what you will and will not accept. Presence begins long before the door opens. Presence is the echo of the work you have done in private. And people feel it. They feel it in your handshake, in your eyes, in your silence. I have watched whole tables go quiet because one woman entered a room without apology, with the calm of someone who knows her worth. She said little. She smiled faintly. And every man who had been speaking too loudly lowered his voice without realizing why. This is the effect of a disciplined presence. You can practice this. You must practice this. Walk slower, breathe deeper. Look directly at people when they speak, not as a challenge, but as a recognition of your own steadiness. Let your words be few but chosen. The world will adjust. Self-respect is a weapon. Let me tell you a story. A woman I once advised had a pattern of giving and giving to her friends, her lovers, her family. She believed that if she kept giving, they would finally give back. But the opposite happened. They gave less. They expected more. Her kindness became a background noise they no longer heard. I told her, stop, withdraw for a season, say no, do not explain. Watch who stays and who leaves. She was terrified. She thought everyone would abandon her. But something remarkable happened. The weak connections did indeed fall away. The opportunists drifted off. But the loyal, the respectful, the genuine became stronger. They began to offer help without being asked. They began to listen. They began to love her not as a resource, but as a person. Her world became smaller but richer. This is the power of boundaries. This is how self-respect sharpens your life. Perception. Some of you think it is manipulative to manage perception. It is not. It is survival. When you leave your house in the morning, you put on clothes. You choose them. You do not wander naked and hope for the best. In the same way, you do not wander through social life emotionally naked. You choose what you show. You choose your expressions, your disclosures, your timing. This does not mean you are false. It means you are intentional. It means you understand that other people's minds are landscapes you must navigate, not storms you must endure. A woman who understands perception can walk into a negotiation and know who is bluffing, who is insecure, who is dominant. She can decide which of her strengths to reveal and which to keep hidden until the moment is right. This is not trickery. This is art. And art is power. Strategic kindness. You will be told you are cold. You will be told you are selfish. Ignore the noise. Kindness without strategy is not kindness, it is leakage. It pours your energy into the sand. But kindness with strategy plants seeds. It turns every act of generosity into an investment in trust. It multiplies the impact of your warmth. It protects you from bitterness, because you are giving from choice, not from compulsion. The people who truly love you will feel it. They will feel that your yes means yes because you have a no. They will feel that your smile is not a mask but a decision, and they will cherish it more. And growth. Growth is your insurance. Growth is the reason you will never be trapped. The woman who grows cannot be controlled. She cannot be replaced, because every season she becomes a new force. Every season she brings new knowledge, new skills, new light. Those around her sense it. They adjust, they admire, they follow. And if they do not, she walks on, because she knows her horizon is wider than any one person's approval. Now, close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself 6 months from now, practicing presence every day. Picture yourself saying no with calm authority. Picture yourself reading a room like a map, knowing exactly where the currents of power flow. Picture yourself giving kindness deliberately, not as a reflex but as a gift. Picture yourself learning, growing, shedding old skin, expanding your reach. How does she move? How does she speak? How does she love? That woman is not a fantasy. That woman is a choice. I want you to hear the sound of your own footsteps in your mind right now. That sound is the drum that will carry you from who you were into who you are becoming. If you take nothing else from this night, take this: nobody will hand you presents, or respect, or influence. They do not arrive like gifts dropped at your feet. They are cultivated, rehearsed, chosen, and every day you either train yourself toward them, or you train yourself away from them. Let us go back to presence and drill deeper. Presence is not a costume you put on before you leave the house. It is a muscle, and like a muscle, it grows through resistance. Start by practicing in small, unglamorous situations. When you're at a cafe and the line is long, do not fidget, do not shrink, do not hide in your phone. Stand tall, breathe slowly, look around with calm curiosity. When you are interrupted, do not rush to finish their thought for them. Let the silence hang. When you are nervous, Slow your speech instead of speeding it up. These are tiny acts of self-command. Over weeks they forge a presence that others feel before you've said a word. People begin to think, she's different. That is not magic. It's discipline, self-respect next. This is the hard one because it will cost you. You will lose people. Some will call you difficult, aloof, even cruel. Let them. Every time you reinforce a boundary, you send a signal: my time has value, my attention has value, my affection has value. This signal does two things at once. It repels those who only wanted a compliant giver. It attracts those who are capable of mutuality. The first time you say, "No, that doesn't work for me," and you don't explain or apologize, you will feel a quake inside you. The second time it is easier. The third time it feels natural. That's the point at which people stop testing you and start respecting you. Perception again. Think of a stage magician. The magician never lies about the fact that it's a performance, but still chooses where to point your eyes, when to reveal the trick, when to conceal it. In the same way, you decide what story people receive about you. Begin to notice your own reveals. Do you blurt your whole history on the first date? Do you give away your plans before they've matured? Do you post every detail of your life online? Pull some of it back, not as a gimmick, but as stewardship. People lean into what is not yet revealed. They fill in the blanks with their own fascination. This is not about being someone else. It is about controlling your own spotlight. Strategic kindness, deeper still. The strongest women I have met were not the ones who gave the most indiscriminately. They were the ones who gave precisely at the right time, to the right people, in ways that built bonds. They sent handwritten notes when a friend achieved something. They offered introductions when someone had proved trustworthy. They quietly withdrew from those who used their generosity without gratitude. Their warmth was not a flood, it was a river, directed, powerful life, giving where it flowed. That is why people loved them, because their kindness felt like a rare gem, not a free trinket. And growth, the heartbeat under it all. When you keep growing, you become unpredictable in the best way. You are no longer an object to be possessed, you are a force to be witnessed. Read widely, train your body, travel when you can, learn skills that scare you. Break your own patterns before someone else does. This keeps you alive inside, and that aliveness is magnetic. People cannot explain why they're drawn to you. They simply are. I tell you these things with urgency because the world will always whisper, be small, be easy, be grateful for scraps. You will smile, you will nod, and inside you will remember this night. You will remember that someone stood on a stage and told you the truth, that love without respect is not love, that admiration without boundaries is not admiration, that power without growth is not power, and you will choose differently. Take a deep breath. Feel how your spine straightens when you do. That is your body learning. That is the first rehearsal of your new life. Right now, while you're sitting here, I want you to do something with me. Sit as you are, but let your shoulders roll back just a little. Let your feet plant flat on the floor. Let your chin come up half an inch. Take a slow breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. That is a tiny rehearsal of presence. Notice how the air in the room shifts, even if no one else moves. This is not superstition, it is how our nervous systems read each other. This is what people feel when you enter a room. Now picture a woman named Sarah. She worked in an office where she was constantly overlooked. She would rush in late, apologizing, head down, trying to please everyone. After we talked, she began to practice these small things: arriving early, sitting tall, speaking slower, letting silence do some of the work. 3 months later, the same colleagues who used to interrupt her were waiting for her opinion. They couldn't name what changed. They just knew she seemed different. That is presence, built in private, revealed in public. Another story. A woman named Amal had always been the helpful one. She cooked, she lent money, she listened to endless complaints, hoping people would finally see her worth. When she began to draw boundaries, she lost half her social circle. It hurt. But the ones who stayed began to treat her differently. One friend said, "I didn't realize how much I was taking you for granted until you stopped." Amal's world became smaller but deeper, and for the first time she felt truly loved. That is self-respect as a weapon. Perception can be practiced too. The next time you're in a conversation, don't just hear the words. Watch the eyes, the hands, the posture. Ask yourself, what are they not saying? Where is their insecurity? Where is their hunger? And ask yourself, what am I revealing without meaning to? Then adjust. You will start to see patterns you never noticed before. You will start to see where to step, where to hold back, where to lead. Strategic kindness. Try this exercise in the coming week. Choose one person who has consistently been generous or supportive. Give them something meaningful. A note, a call, an introduction. With no fanfare. Choose one person who has consistently drained you. Withdraw one small thing you've been giving them automatically. A ride, a favor, a listening ear, and watch how they respond. This tiny test will teach you more about your relationships than a year of wondering. And growth. This is the only principle you can't fake. Tonight, before you sleep, write down one area where you've been coasting. One book you've been meaning to read. One class you've been afraid to take. One change you've been postponing. Circle it. Start it this week. Every time you grow, even a little, you add voltage to your presence, your boundaries, your perception, your kindness. You become a moving current instead of a fixed object. Do you feel the pattern? Presence makes people notice you. Self-respect makes them value you. Perception makes you effective with them. Strategic kindness makes them loyal. Growth keeps you magnetic. Together they form a life that draws real love, not crumbs of attention. I look out at you now and I see faces already straighter, eyes already steadier. This is what happens when you begin to taste power. Not power over others, but power over yourself. The room changes. You change. And when you walk out of here tonight, the world will feel you differently. Imagine 6 months from now, you have been practicing presence, self-respect, perception, strategic kindness and growth every day in small ways. You walk into a meeting and people quieten without knowing why. Old friends who used to treat you as a convenience now ask, "Do you have time for coffee?" and actually wait for your answer. Invitations arrive from people you used to think were out of reach. Not because you're begging for attention, but because you've become rare. You've become someone with gravity. A woman named Lena once told me she felt invisible at work. She started with one simple thing, walking slower. She left 5 minutes earlier so she wouldn't rush. She stood still in elevators. She breathed before answering. In 3 months, her boss asked her to lead a project. "You seem so composed lately," he said. She hadn't changed her skills, she had changed her presence. Presence speaks before your sum does. A woman named Farah had spent her 20s in relationships where she overgave. She thought boundaries would make people leave. But after she began saying no calmly, the wrong people left and the right one appeared. "You have this aura now," he told her on their second date. "It makes me want to be better." Self-respect draws not only respect but aspiration. Perception, think of it as learning a language. At first you only catch a few words, then you start to hear the whole sentence. With practice you begin to hear tone, pauses, hidden meanings. After a year of reading people, you can walk into a negotiation, a party, a family dinner and know who is leading, who is bluffing, who is vulnerable. You no longer walk blindly into traps or give your trust to the wrong hands. You stop bleeding energy into black holes. This is why perception is not a luxury, it is protection. Strategic kindness, after months of practicing it, your generosity becomes a signature. People wait for it, cherish it, talk about it. "She's always so thoughtful," they say, not because you give constantly, but because you give wisely. The ones who used to drain you drift away because your kindness now has a gate. The ones who stay become allies, partners, protectors. You've turned random goodwill into a network of loyalty. Growth, this is the engine that keeps everything alive. After a year of new books, new classes, new risks, you feel alive again. You can hold a conversation on more subjects. You can move in rooms you used to avoid. You've built small proofs to yourself that you can change, and those proofs make you unshakable. When someone tries to diminish you, it bounces off. When life throws a challenge at you, you adapt. People can feel that resilience. They start to root for you because you embody something they want. All of this starts in small, invisible acts, standing tall, pausing before you answer, saying no once, not telling your whole story at once, giving to one person who has earned it, reading one book, taking one class. These small acts compound. In a year, they look like transformation. From the outside, it looks like magic. From the inside, it feels like freedom. Pause with me again. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your breath. In this moment, you have a choice. You can leave here tonight and go back to your old patterns. Or you can decide that from this night forward, you will rehearse power every day in small, unglamorous ways. Nobody will clap for you at first. Nobody will notice at first. But then, slowly, inevitably, the world will shift. People will lean in. They will respect you. They will admire you. They will love you. Not the brittle love that comes from performance, but the steady love that comes from presence, respect, perception, strategic kindness and growth. That is what I want for you. Look at what we've walked through tonight. We stripped away the fairy tales and spoke about how power, respect and love actually move. I gave you 5 principles, not as tricks but as truths. Presence, to enter every space grounded, calm, deliberate, so people feel you before you speak. Self-respect, to draw real love by setting boundaries that teach the world how to treat you. Perception, to read the room, reveal yourself in layers, and hold the frame of your own story. Strategic kindness, to give wisely so your warmth becomes a treasure instead of a trap. And growth, the heartbeat that keeps you unpredictable, alive and magnetic. Taken together, they are not a costume you put on once, they are a discipline you rehearse every day. You start with small acts, a slower breath, a straighter spine, one calm no, one moment of holding back your story, one deliberate gift, one new skill. Those acts compound into a woman who no longer waits to be chosen but chooses herself. And as she does, people cannot help but notice, respect, admire, and yes, love her, not as a possession but as a force. That is the life you can build. That is the choice before you. Take a breath, stand taller, and step into it.